Alright, this is Kami Ken, and I'm here to show you the perfect warm-up to make you a badass at art. So, what we have here are a bunch of shapes. Shapes that I drew from the highest of authority. A warm-up that I coupled together from the best in the land. And I'm going to show you how to do it now. This only takes 20 minutes. And the way you start it, give me a second. There we go. All right. So, for the first 10 minutes, you'll just be drawing lines. Actually, not lines. First 10 minutes, you'll start off with lines. 10 lines each. 10 lines going straight across, making them as straight as you possibly can. 10 lines just like this. They have to be equally spaced. There we go. Equally spaced. And as straight as you can possibly get them. The length of them is up to you, but the guidelines remain the same. And you want to do 10 of these lines. That's how you start. You want to start simple and then work your way up to the more complicated shapes. Next, you'll be doing lines that cross over each other. And they all have to cross through the middle perfectly. If you even miss a little bit, you die. So you want to make this as perfect as possible. Oh no. Anyways, next we have the dot to dot line. First you want to cross these 10 times perfectly. And then next we have the dot to dot line. You want to do 10 of these as well. You want to hit this line, you want to hit this other dot perfectly with the line that you draw. And if you miss, you die. So make sure to do it slowly. And if you want more control over the line, breathe in, like hold your breath and draw the line. Also, you want to look at the dot that you're drawing towards as you're drawing the line. Don't look at the line that you're drawing. Don't look at the dot that you're coming from. Look at the dot that you're drawing towards, and you'll have a higher success rate of hitting it and a higher chance of not dying. So here we go. I'm drawing this through the camera. I'm looking at the camera as I do this so that I can make sure everything's in frame. Yeah, that's close enough. Just make sure it touches the dot at the very least. And don't make a big dot like an asshole just to draw it through, and that doesn't count. It has to be a small dot like this. Oh no. Anyways, next one, you want to do that 10 times and see if you can do it 10 times perfectly. So, next shape. Let me see, we got all the lines here. Next shape will be not a circle, not what you're expecting. It's going to be a coil. You're going to draw a coil like this. And as you draw this coil, you can see that it's starting to make a three-dimensional shape. You have the length of it, you have the width of it, But you also have the circles that show the form of the shape that you're drawing. Otherwise, you just have this. This is when we start making the shift from two-dimensional or one-dimensional shapes to more three-dimensional objects. So it's taking you to more complex shapes. So next, after we do a whole bunch of swirls, like maybe you got one in a circle here, this really trains the eye to see more 3D shapes in the art that you're drawing. Next, after that, you have a regular circle. And you just do 10 regular circles, varying sizes. Try to get it perfect. And you just do 10 of those. And then after that, you want to draw inside the circles and do concentric circles within. Draw them equally spaced, and the inside circle should be as perfect as the outside circle. And you want to do that all the way inside. And if you've done it correctly, it'll look like an optical illusion. It'll start shimmering because they're so perfectly drawn. That's when you know you've done it correctly. So, after the circles, you want to go to ellipses. Ellipses imply a 3D space because they're just circles folded over, whereas circles are just looking straight on at you. You have an ellipse that recedes into the background. And with these ellipses, after you've drawn them, you want to draw a line through the middle of them. This line indicates the depth of that ellipse. If you want a deeper explanation on that, you'll have to look in this book, How to Draw, by Scott Robertson. There you go. And that's where I got that exercise from. So, once you're done with that, you do 10 of these, 10 lines through them. Next you go to tubes. Ellipses are made, or tubes are made out of two ellipses connected by two lines. Basically, they're cylinders. You want to create a whole bunch of cylinders. And this is further training your 3D perception, because now you're no longer thinking in simple lines or simple circles. You're now being able to use these shapes, these lines, to create a 3D shape. And the final shape in this sequence is a cube. Yep, it's a cube. You're going to be drawing a whole bunch of these. 10? Yep, you guessed it. You're going to have to be drawing 10 cubes to finish out your warm-up. And this is a 10-minute exercise. You want to do it within that 10 minutes. And if you have time left over, the last thing that I learned from one of the tutorials that I got this from was to combine the shapes. Now you know how to draw a cube, and you can combine shapes like a cube and a blob thing, or if you're trying to draw anatomy, you got maybe the pelvis or something here. You got a circle, you got the lines that form the circle, much like they did here. And you can draw these shapes to form your anatomy. And this is something I did for months and months and months. I would just draw these shapes as warm-up every single day at work before paper was outlawed there. And I would just practice and practice these shapes. These are my past papers for doing these practices. I just did it over. Okay, that doesn't count. Yep, just did it over and over and over and over again, much like a madman would. And I just kept practicing, just kept getting better, just using the perspective that I learned. I would just keep drawing it over and over on the back of things that, on the back of works, or the back of papers that we got at work. I just keep drawing, keep figuring it out. And every once in a while, I would stumble upon some kind of new shape or a new thing to do with the shapes. Something fun, like turning these tubes in space without any like perspective lines. I would just do that, or drawing these cubes overlapping. The more you do this warm-up, the more creative you can get with the shapes that you're trying to pull off. And the more that you find that you don't know, like I don't know the correct perspective for these things. So one day I can actually like look that up just because I'm doing the warm-up. I mean, I guess here's more papers, here's more stuff. Let me see what else. Yeah, it's just all over the place. Look at that. I set a horizon line here and drew cubes below it and above it. I just kept getting more creative. This is an example of me using the shapes, combining them to create anatomy. Tubes, circles, squares, all of that. And that is 10 minutes worth of a warm-up. The final 10 minutes I'll reveal in the next video. This is just the 10-minute part. Next video I'll show you the final bit of it, and it'll all come together. Alright, this has been Kami Ken, and I will see you later.